Yeah, back in the field with the track stars, Ryan Wright, to Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. Go to trackstars.com for all the latest. If you're an artist, make sure you send us your music. If you go to trackstars.com, should be a music submission link. Make sure you send us your music videos. If you're a producer, send us your beats, and we'll help you get it placed in the right spot. All right? Okay. So there were a couple things that happened recently that made us think of the word cancel culture. Now, Jeremiah's been warning us about this for months now. But this coming tide of, the liberal elites kind of like stomping out people, whatever, right? And for the people like me who are like, Trump sucks, so I like that it's happening now. But Jeremiah's like, but wait till this starts happening to you. So that just came to mind when all this stuff happened. So a couple examples. First one, the lady from Star Wars, can't remember her name. She tweeted some stuff on, I think it was on Instagram, where she posted basically saying like, the way Republicans were treated the last couple of years is like how the Nazis vilified the Jews, and the only way the Nazis were able to round up the Jews is because they first made their neighbors hate them, and that's what's happening to Republicans, things like that. So she got fired from The Mandalorian, which was a hit show this past year, a year before too, and so that was a big deal. She already got hired by like Ben Shapiro or something. The other example, which is a brewing situation, is The Bachelor. The lead producer Chris Harrison said some pretty racist things to their first black bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay. So that's still coming out. Essentially, there's a contestant on the show that the first male black bachelor likes a lot and they think may win. She went to basically what they call slave owner parties or Old South parties, right? Plantation, dress up antebellum, reliving the old days type party. So there's a lot of stuff around that. So now people are calling for Chris Harrison to get fired. So I guess essentially the question is cancel culture going too far or not far enough?
They've been going too far. They the new mafia.
Yeah, I think cancel culture happens because it's a mob that likes it until it turns on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is it's go. And that's what I was saying about the whole Trump thing. When me, you, Ryan had a heated discussion, I was like, we're saying all this now. You guys are saying this now, but when it happens to us, because it's going to happen to us sooner or later. I'm not saying it's going to be the Nazis throwing a Bible in it. It possibly could be. I don't know. But sooner or later, it's going to flip on Christians, and we're going to see who's really for the faith and who's not for the faith. And I'm saying that because we don't think it's going to happen because we're like, well, Trump is just evil. He's racist. We got to get rid of him. I'm sure if they can win this trial, what's going on with Trump, it's going to start with the conservative, and it's going to come to Christians, and after Christians.
Wait. What? If they win this trial, what's this trial?
They win the trial. I'm saying
the impeachment trial.
The impeachment trial. If they win the trial, it's going to carry over. I'm telling y'all, it's going to carry over. That's conspiracy J kicking in.
So here's my question. I understand your fears because, literally, if the tide keeps rolling too far, it will come for us, and it literally us, right? Because they can pull up old videos and be like, well, you said such. So literally us, but there has to be a difference between. There has to be balance between worrying about that and also holding people accountable for actually bad behavior. You can't say, oh, well, they're gonna come for us, so let this idiot off from what he did.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying letting him off. I'm saying they're using him as, hey, we got to get rid of him because what they're saying that he did is wrong. Because my question is, if his speech is wrong, I'm always for free speech, bro, because I see how, like, as much as going back, even going back to like the days of music and when people was trying to censor, when Christians even back in the day was trying to censor Luke or Prince or all those people, I'm like, this could backfire sooner or later. Even in the 80s, I'm like, you think if somebody's like, I don't like what they're saying, an atheist could be like, I don't like what they're saying. So I'm like, I'm a rabid person for free speech. And I think I know what you're going to say, but that's not free speech, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. I think what I'm coming across saying is, if things continue to happen, they're coming. It's going to come for Christians. Okay. It's going to, regardless if the Trump thing or whatever. I'm just using that as an example of that's the thing to get the ball rolling to say. And I'm not saying he shouldn't or he shouldn't. He should or he shouldn't. I'm just saying that the winning of that case, in my opinion, if what is going on now, if he does lose whatever he loses or whatever, the target is coming. Because what I'm saying is the mentality, not the mentality of a liberal, but the liberal mentality at times could be, well, this is offensive. We got to stop anything that's offensive of what we're trying to do. So if it's offensive, if the scriptures are offensive to my lifestyle, we're going to get rid of it.
Truth is offensive.
Yeah. Right.
So it's already a problem.
And you can't hide that.
I hear what you're saying, Jeremiah, but I would argue that it's a slippery slopes both directions, right? It's a slippery slope the way you're talking about it, but it's also a slippery slope with what you call free speech too much, right? What people are trying to avoid is basically what happened, right? Where somebody with a megaphone can say fire, 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 or kill the Jews, kill the Jews, kill, and people can get riled up because of their personality and their power to do atrocious things. It's happened in history, right? So free speech to the point of say whatever you want, whenever you want, no matter what. That's a slippery slope too. You see what I'm saying? So it's a balance. It's how do you make sure it doesn't go too far to say whatever you want, and too far to you can only say what I want. That's what we're trying to balance.
Because I think it's blending. I think that's what it is. It's because I'm like, when you look at stuff, it's like, okay, Trump said that he loses the case. What is going to stop another politician to say, I saw something on live Saturday with my friends. I saw there's two black guys and there's these three black guys and there's one black girl. And they was talking about something I just don't agree with. We should banish anybody that has that kind of conversation.
Right. I feel you, Jeremiah. But what I'm saying
I'm just saying, like, don't be a blind eye. Like you're just celebrating it because it's masked in some way that you don't see the other side of it, of the smoking door.
I got you. But Jeremiah, what I'm trying to tell you specifically is the answer to your concern isn't to just go with the other side, because that side has pitfalls too.
No, I get that. I'm not saying just go with the other side. I'm saying that when that happens, it's going to be a snowball effect. And for people, I'm just telling people to get ready, because for people who's like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, when it happens, it's going to happen, because people like Maya just said, people are offended. We're in an offended society right now. We're in a society where if they don't like you. Right now, it's just like disrespecting you, not disrespecting you, but just getting you off of social media. Yeah, it's gonna come a time where it's gonna be beyond social media, where it's like we need to get away from that person. That person needs to go. We need to make laws to say, hey, you can't say this about what we just talked about with the LGBTQ. Hey, you can't say that about women's rights, or you can't say that even if you're speaking truth to the situation. I'm not talking about like some hateful stuff. I'm talking about you just saying biblically based things as Christians that we believe in. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I think one of the big problems is you have people being judge and jury with no discernment and no wisdom. Like they're trying to, I think we're supercharged off emotion and we're quick to counsel people. For instance, if y'all remember back when Ice Cube had a conversation with the red side, people on the blue side were quick to say, cancel Ice Cube, cancel him. And it's like, this man has put out the body of work this man has put out and what he's kind of done for what he's trying to do for us. And like, y'all are just so quick to like turn on this man. It's like, hold up, this is Cube we talking about. And we're just ready to cancel him. Like, we've been going too far with cancel culture for a long time. Like there are things that I will say on our channel that, even my, African American community, they would agree with. But then I'll turn around and I'll say something else, and it doesn't necessarily jive with them. And they're like, they could say cancel, that Christian fam. But I think the thing is just I'm never, never be beholden to any group per se, and not be, I guess, have all of your decisions based on whether you're going to get canceled or not, because it's going to happen. Eventually somebody going to say cancel such and such. They try to cancel Cube. You see Cube is still going strong. We see it in our YouTube community. We're talking about even with censorship, with someone getting deplatformed or kicked off the platform for a week or so. That recently happened to a big YouTuber within CHH, for a week. And then, they came back and they had a little different view about being deplatformed or being censored or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that we say within our Christian faith that is considered today hate speech.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is Jesus, Jesus's prayer, his prayer was that one day we would all become one. But as I say all the time, he was talking about within the body of Christ. He wasn't talking about with everybody, because he realized that not everybody's going to come to the faith. Not everybody's going to go to heaven. Not everybody is going to be saved. And so when he says stuff like, I come to divide a mother from daughter-in-law and son from father, he said those things because there's going to be some people that come into the faith that are within the same household, and some people who think it's foolishness, and the divide will happen. And I think the same thing is happening on a larger scale within America. You're going to have people who feel like what we're saying is hate speech, and eventually it's going to happen. So yes, to answer the question, I believe that we have gone too far with cancel culture. I believe that it's okay sometimes, but it's a slippery slope, like you said, Sean.
It doesn't foster healthy communication either, honestly. Like, if you aren't willing to have like a real conversation with people, people have lost friends over cancel culture, because it's like you just disagree with somebody and you willing to just throw them away. Like, that's not Jesus at all. Like, have a conversation with people.
So the only problem I have with what's happening now is that cancel culture is built off of the civil rights movement. It's built off of this idea that black people were subjugated in this country and were demanding our rights. And people have co-opted that movement. They've taken the blueprint of that movement and they've applied it to all other things, and they're holding it in the same equal esteem as what we had to deal with. That's a little bit offensive to me, so I'm canceling all of you. But but what I'm afraid of as Christians, because I just see too many people falling for this. Yes, the boogeyman, the white liberal elites, they're trying to take our stuff, right? They're trying to kill Christianity. I get that fear. But what I see people they're running from that to something equally as bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. Is don't run away from that into the arms of Donald Trump. Don't run away from that into the arms of people who are just as bad. That's the fear I'm having.
Like the worst though, Sean? Like you make it sound like he's like
he's the leader of the idea I'm talking about. That's who people are looking to as the example of the counter to that culture. That, to me, I'm telling you that is not counter to that culture. That is the opposite culture. It's the same thing on the other side. So that's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope both ways. Don't adopt their thinking because you're mad at these people. You see what I'm saying?
And vice versa. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't excuse Donald Trump because you're mad at Hollywood. Don't excuse Proud Boys because you're mad at Antifa. Right. They're both bad things. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't feel like you need to join a camp to fight another camp. You're already in a camp. You're a Christian.
But I think people right now, the media has used this against us. I think they don't think it could be three. I think they think it's only one or two. It's either you with us or against us. And that's where it is right now, honestly. And that's just not a Christian thing. That's just a party thing.
But Jeremy, that's a false choice though. I don't feel that need to choose between those two things.
But Sean, you're mature enough not to. The average person they're not talking to just Christians who are going back and forth like the wind. They're talking to everybody. That's a spiritualist, a Muslim, a Jewish person, all types of religions or non-religion people they're talking to who just like, I just hate racism. So it's like we get them out. I hate racism, and then the opposite side is, hey, that person ain't racist. They're just trying to get them out because they don't like them. So then you like, as a person, if you don't have no discernment in your heart, if you don't have no discernment of God giving me a view on seeing what both sides are really like, pull back those curtains. If you're gonna join a side, like even like you said, it's wrong to join a side. But that's what people are right now. They're not. I'm just talking from my job. I could talk to somebody. I could talk to like 6 different people, and all of them are going to pick a side. There's no more agree to disagree. That's been dead.
And all I'm saying is, don't do that. I don't care what the excuse is. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who are just susceptible to the mob mentality and fall victim to the wisdom of the crowd. Well, if all these people are saying it, or all these people believe this, then I'll just go with the flow. I mean, a lot of people like that. And it's like, and it's even within the church, like we act like dumb sheep, like all the time, like with no brain. It's like the media says this, we're going to be polarized in this direction. Or if they say another, vice versa, we'll be in the opposite direction. It's like, can you just stop and pray and think sometimes? Like, you don't have to be swayed by everything that goes across your screen. Like, sometimes you can have your own opinion and just trust God. So,
do you think people are afraid though that they'll be canceled, which is why they won't go against the grain?
Yes, I believe that. I believe that. I think that because I think oftentimes a lot of people don't follow their convictions. They're not rooted in their convictions to where they're afraid of cancel culture. And I guess that's, y'all talking to the right dude or the wrong dude, depending on how you want to say it, because I really don't care. I don't care if I'm canceled or not. I'm going to be, heavily trenched in my convictions. And if you rock with it, fine. If you don't, I got a tough skin.
But like kind of what Sean talked about earlier with Ravi Zacharias, using him as an example of the platform is paying him. So like somebody like a Van Jones, who somebody read in the comments that said the View was trying to get at him because he said something that they didn't like. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now Van Jones, if you watch CNN, he's a Democrat. I mean, he ain't no conservative. He's a Democrat. So now you have infighting in both parties, honestly, in both political parties. You have the conservatives, that's Trump, riding for Trump, and you have some conservatives that's like, hey, Trump is an idiot. Then you have some, and for people who may hear this for the first time, there's some Democrats that are so progressive that moderate Democrats are like, they're crazy. Like using an example was President Obama was like, defunding the police is stupid. Why would we say defund the police? And then you have some progressive Democrats like, you out of touch. So there's fighting in both parties. Right now, the media is just making it look like it's just the conservatives, but it's both parties that's having those situations. Yeah, and I think what like somebody said in the comments, they were saying, not choosing is a side.
That's not true.
That for some people it is. It's like
that's
so.
Not true.
You're saying that
the side I'm choosing is neither one of those sides. It doesn't mean I'm not choosing a side. My side is already written in text. Like I'm always going to choose the Bible. The Bible does not fit neatly in either one of the two sides that are being presented to me. So I'm not choosing either one of them. I'm choosing the Bible. I'm choosing God. Yeah. So you're never going to make me choose between these two things. These two things, in my opinion, suck.
Horrible.
So that's just my opinion. So what that means is on every single issue, I have to decide which one of these is more Christ-like to me. And if one of them is over here and one of them is over here and one of them is over here, that's fine. I'm not going to ride for this team or that team when I know the flaws in both of them. Doesn't make any sense.
I think we have to be willing though to challenge people on both sides, and that, I'm even thinking about our brothers and sisters in Christ. Like, I need to challenge my Black brothers and sisters in Christ just as much as I need to challenge my white brothers and sisters in Christ, because it's not always Jesus. Like, it's not, sometimes your culture and your experiences and what your opinion is creeps up in there. And it's like, That's not lining up with the word.
Just here's what I wanted to get to. If you're very, very upset with what the media or the left is doing, or they hate Christians and all that kind of stuff, you're a mark. I just want to make sure you know that you are an easy target for manipulation. It's very easy to manipulate angry people. Just be very careful about that. And that's what I'm trying to warn you against. Yes, the things you're saying may be true, what you're seeing, but don't just run into the arms of anybody near you that's saying, yeah. They are using you too. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm seeing. Don't just because somebody says they're on your team, they are not actually for you. That's my point this whole time.
And oftentimes they have an agenda. So,
But I think to wrap it up, I think cancel culture is just people. It's kind of like escapism for people. They can't cancel what's in their personal lives. That's almost taking them to a point they want to cancel what's going on in their lives. So they group together at times to tell other people, like, you know, it's toxic escapism, because it's like I can get with a group of people to tell, yo, we can cancel, you know, the Family Channel show because I didn't like what he said on his show. But it's like you don't want to cancel some of your bad decisions that you made in your life. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, man. We just have to we have to grow up, man, honestly. And we have to, and I think that's what tough love is. It's like telling people when they're wrong, even if it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Even if it's like, you know, we're canceling somebody because, I mean, we kind of like, we didn't talk about Dave Ramsey, but we're canceling somebody because when he's talking about you may not agree with it, but it had some merit to what he's talking about, you know what I mean, those situations about money.
But real quick, as far as cancel culture, all cancel culture is a group of people saying, I'm no longer going to support a thing. If your livelihood depends on everybody liking you, that may need to be readjusted in the first place. Yeah. If you can be canceled and that would actually hurt your life, that may not be a good business plan.
Can't everybody be canceled though? In some way,
some people
like
don't. Some people.
Yeah, everybody.
All I'm saying is, if your livelihood depends on the world liking all your stuff, and if they remove their appreciation of you, and that destroys your life, you just have to know that going in, that is a delicate balance. I mean, even non-Christians are dealing with that. Yeah. So your whole livelihood is based on public perception being favorable towards you. And if it changes, which it can change for anybody, and it would destroy your life, you need to be thinking about that, figure out a way to get some insurance along the way so that if everything goes away, you're not out here with your butt out.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know how anybody can insulate themselves from cancel culture, because I'm like, all it takes is somebody disagreeing with you, whether you're right or wrong. Like all it takes is somebody disagreeing with you and getting enough momentum behind them for everybody to stop, you know, soliciting your products, services, content, whatever.
Speaking of Dave Ramsey, you should be saving. You should be building up alternate forms of income. You should be
investing.
You should be anticipating the cancel. You see what I'm saying? Like, figure out what you would do if you were. What's your backup plan? How are you going to survive? Do you rely on AWS services? Do you rely on Instagram? Do you rely on YouTube? What are we going to do if YouTube cancels our account? Like, those are things you got to start thinking about ahead of time. Are you solely dependent on other people for your livelihood? And if you are, maybe you need to throw in some fail safes. Yeah, it's not a surprise. It's in the Bible that Christians are going to get canceled. It's in the Bible, it's in Revelations. So we need, like Jeremiah said, you need to be preparing for that. You can't stop it. It's already written down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we have multiple streams of income. So even within the YouTube space, like Ruslan talks about this a lot, about having you need to start having some grassroots thing aside from YouTube, because YouTube one day could be taken away from you or whatever. And then if you don't have an email list or ways that people can get in contact with you, there goes your whole platform. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a slippery slope. It's tough. It is really tough because you could say some things that you know, that Black Christians could identify with, or you can say something that people identify with your Christianity, but then when they start saying things that are against your faith, you're like, okay, I don't agree with that. And then because you don't agree with that, it's like, okay, they're canceled. And I think people have lost the art of being willing to have dialogue and agreeing to disagree. I think that's what it is. We want to bully you into thinking the same way when in fact God created us to have nuance. We're not all going to think the same. We're not. And we need to be okay with being separate. We can choose to disagree, but that doesn't make us a lesser person. This bully mentality of I'm going to make you think like I want you to think, and I'm going to make you believe how I want you to believe. I think that's the biggest problem. People want you to be just like you.
Real quick before we leave. In reverse of that, was we like that in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s?
Who was
Christians.
we?
When I say Christians,
Well, the Catholic
like
Church, the Catholic Church was heavy on that with Constantine, with the missionaries. They were
I'm talking about in America. If you think back, 40s, 50s, 60s, prior to like the.
Can we say colonialism?
I mean, it was like if you weren't a Christian, I remember them banning the Beatles because John Lennon was like Jesus ain't real or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, we stopped playing their records until they, you know what I'm saying? So is it reverse for us now? Like we got to go through the heat now because we were the ones holding on tight and telling people you can't do this and you can't do that.
Even though we are right within our Christianity, within our faith and our choice in Jesus, the way that we went about it within America was Bush League with a lot of stuff.
All right, hopefully
it really was. Hopefully
this will get you guys. Obviously, you guys are talking a lot about this in the comments, so keep talking.
Yeah.
Share this video if you want to get other people in on the conversation. You guys know what's next. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Wright, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's